Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today we'll be diving straight back into the iceberg that we didn't finish last video. I said that this would be part 2. This is a 2-part series, so if you haven't watched part 1 of this iceberg, I recommend going back and watching it. I will leave it down in the description down below to see where we left off. So in this part we will be covering tier 4 through 6. In last video we covered 1, 2, 3. In this video, we will cover 4 through 6 and go all the way down to the bottom. I'm not gonna lie, a bit of the topics on the bottom tiers, they do get a bit disturbing, so viewer discretion is advised if you do find certain things disturbing, I guess. But yeah, if you do enjoy this type of content, consider subscribing because I post on here almost once a week, I guess. But yeah, we're gonna cover the rest of the iceberg in this video, so as usual, I don't want to waste any of your guys' time. Let's dive straight back into the iceberg.
Monkey hate community. So this one is very strange and disturbing. So what this is referring to is that there is a small community online that enjoy the torture of monkeys. Like they enjoy watching monkeys get hurt and suffer. There's no specific spot for all this hate, but rather it's just all over the internet. On YouTube there used to be really disturbing videos of monkeys getting tortured. In one video a baby monkey was covered in flammable liquid and set on fire. Some channels exist solely to post videos of monkeys suffering, and they have become like meeting places for like fetishes and like to encourage more violence and fueling each other on. The comments and replies are simply people saying how much they love watching the monkey suffer and hearing it scream as it dies. I even found a Discord server dedicated about stating, "Do you hate baby monkeys? Join this server to talk about it." So yeah, there's some real sickos out there. Silent Hill Wiki circumcision. Okay, so this entry is kind of funny to me because it's about a Wikipedia admin having a complete meltdown. So on the Silent Hill wiki, there was a character in Silent Hill called Walter Sullivan. This character was said to be circumcised at a very young age in the game, so there was a point in time that when you visited the Silent Hill wiki and went to see Walter's page about him, things looked a bit strange. So it turns out one of the admins of the wiki website wrote out a long rambling rant detailing why Walter was a victim of genital mutilation, but also goes into like extreme detail about how circumcision is actually a construct of Satanism and the Illuminati, and that doctors are puppets of this conspiracy. A long list of just explanations as to why circumcision is bad has now been laid out and smacked in the middle of the page, as well as a defense of why it should be considered child abuse and a human rights issue. Now I know what you're thinking, what the hell does any of this have to do with Silent Hill? Whenever users of the page saw this page, they started to question and go against the admin that changed it. Admin Alex Shepard, the one who edited Walter's page, came back with not just defense of his actions, but an angry, violent attack against anyone who questioned the edits. The admin would respond with comments like, "I'm not ruining the entire wiki, you are just biased due to social brainwashing." The admin even locked the page at one point to prevent any other edits being done, and even took it as far to change the other character's bios to fit in with his weird theory. Now most people didn't have anything against the concept of circumcision being bad, but rather the fact that this had nothing to do with Silent Hill. According to other admins, he is known for being nice and committed to the Silent Hill community, and this whole thing just came out of left field. SLC Daycare Center. So this is talking about a daycare center located in Salt Lake City. The daycare center is called Funtime Kids Daycare. The Funtime Kids Daycare conspiracy began on January 25th, 2015 when user Disco Godfather 6922 posted a photo to Reddit. He wrote that he lived nearby for 5 years, but he'd never seen any kids having any fun time inside. This sparked a whole conspiracy theory on Reddit on what actually was going on inside the daycare. Many users came forward claiming they lived nearby the area and stating they've never seen any kids enter or leave. According to records obtained by the Child Care Licensing at Utah Department of Health, Funtime Kids Care is a functioning daycare facility and nothing else. But of course, many people still believe sketchy things might be still happening inside the daycare. Jody.org. Jody.org is a website that was created by two internet artists. This website was originally called www.jody.org, and they were the first artists to create web art and later started to create software art. I think the reason people found this interesting is because the website was covered in code, so many thought it was a secret messages or something else. but it was just some old HTML art project that started back in the 90s. Yeah, not much else to say here. WKCR hijacking. WKCR is a radio station at Columbia University in New York City. The WKCR hijacking is a known broadcast interruption that was captured in an old radio that was built like a tape player. Originally, it was posted to 4chan by an anonymous uploader that had stated that the incident occurred between 1994 and 1995. In the recording, the normal music is playing as usual until it cuts out to some high-pitched squealing mixed in with heavy breathing heard in the background. Further in the recording, a woman's voice is heard at a fast-paced speaking. More whispers and gibberish continue to play until the radio station gains control again. Now, many have speculated whether this actually took place or not, but creepy nonetheless. Playground. This is talking about an ARG by a YouTube channel called The Remnants of Playground. It's about this online group of strange individuals named Playground. The group consists of 5 members and they stated to be on operation between 1999 and 2003. The one telling the story claims to be the outsider of the group since the leader only wanted 4 members in the group. The videos are odd and strange and they cast some characters such as Scott and Cameron and the so-called antagonist. The ARG has some twists and turns and also involves other channels. This ARG doesn't seem to be a popular ARG as there's not too many covering it. It also seems pretty old, so not too many know about it. MaggieBond.com. So I need to explain who MaggieBond is. MaggieBond was an old YouTuber that started around 2006. MaggieBond's videos were very odd because almost all of her videos were in the form of video blogs lasting like under a minute. But what she would do in these videos is simply stare at the camera and smile. She wouldn't say anything or do anything. She would upload many videos of her just staring to the camera and occasionally speaking broken Japanese. With this, she would grow a respectable fan base and gain thousands of subscribers. Around 2008, she would reach her peak as she would get invited to TV shows and castings in Japan. Now back to MaggieBond.com. This is a website that was created by a fan that had an insane obsession over MaggieBond. This fan would upload some of the most unsettling videos and creepy videos, and all of them involved MaggieBond. His online name was Frank, and many believed he was an online stalker. In the videos, he would wear a gas mask and would make disturbing gestures / videos about MaggieBond. And it's pretty obvious that he's an insane, disturbing obsession about MaggieBond. But it turns out the creator of the website, or Frank, was not called Frank, but that it was just some digital art student making an art project or social experiment to see how many website clicks he can get based on another creator's identity. In this case, it would be MaggieBond. Markovian parallax denigrate. Markovian parallax denigrate is one of the oldest and weirdest mysteries to ever exist on the internet. The mystery would date back all the way back to 1996, whenever hundreds of strange messages would start being posted on Usenet. Usenet was like a discussion forum slash board like we have today, but Usenet had some of like the same features that we have today. Now on August 5th, 1996, the strange mystery messages would start being posted on Usenet. Most of the messages displayed unreadable text and gibberish. Many thought nothing of it, but all the messages had one thing in common. They all had the same subject line that read Markovian parallax denigrate. Many theories began to spring up about what these secret coded messages can be. Skeptics believed it to be the work of some organization, or many others believed it to be a Markov bot that just spammed everyone's inbox. Later on, there was some research done on the mystery and it came to find out that it was just somebody trolling some Christian groups. I highly recommend watching Barely Sociable's video about it, as he explains it far better than I can. John Lang. John Lang was about a man from Fresno, California that was mysteriously murdered inside his house. John Lang one day was at the grocery store, and when he was walking out of the grocery store, he noticed police officers in the parking lot. He noticed that the police officers were doing some scams on people's license plates in the parking lot. So what the PD would do is they would mess with people's license plate and wait for the person from the grocery store to walk out and enter their car to drive off. The PD would then wait for them to drive off with the scammed license plate, just so they can pull them over and act like they were caught in the act. John noticed the police officers doing this and took pictures and videos, so then John continued to post these acts of the Fresno PD on Facebook and news articles. John also reported this to the police department as well, but no one was taking John seriously about these actions. After John Lang would call out the police department for being corrupt and suspicious, John would claim that the police department would begin to stalk and watch John's every every move. John would start uploading videos of the police officers outside his house to his YouTube channel, which contained various videos of vans and trucks recording his home and watching him. Over the course of a couple months, the Fresno Police Department would continue to watch John's every move, and eventually he files a complaint report about the police department, but this would only make things worse. John Lane began to grow more and more worried as he claimed on many Facebook posts that he believes the Fresno PD is going to murder him any day now. Well, the following week on January 20th, 2016, John Lane's house would be set on fire and burnt down. John's body would be found inside with multiple stab wounds inflicted. After John Lane's death, the autopsy report and statement about the case would rule it out as suicide. This was very odd and strange. It simply made no sense to rule it out as suicide. Many people began to voice their opinions and look into the case, but Fresno PD would close the case and claim it was suicide. Till this day, it's still unsolved, and it doesn't look like the Fresno PD is gonna reinvestigate the case anytime soon. MK Vlogs. MK Vlogs has to do with the vlogs or videos of many attempts to find the mysterious M Cave located in the Sheep Mountains near Las Vegas. But most importantly, I'm sure this entry is referring to the disappearance of Kenny Veach. Kenny Veach was an experienced long-distance hiker and has been doing such things over 20 years. In June 2014, Kenny claimed on a YouTube comment section that he discovered a hidden cave with the entrance in the shape of a perfect capital M. He states his whole body began to vibrate as he got closer to the cave entrance, so he became very scared and got out of there. Many YouTube comments were skeptical and believed Kenny was lying and challenged him to go rediscover the cave to prove it. Kenny explained he wasn't lying and that he will return to the cave and make a YouTube video of his hike trying to get to the M Cave. Most of the YouTube replies encouraged him to do it, except for one that says to Kenny, "No, do not go back there. If you find that cave entrance, don't go in. If you do, you won't get out." Kenny Veach would make a YouTube video of his hike trying to find the M Cave on October 18th, 2014 called M Cave Hike. On November 10th, 2014, Kenny told his girlfriend Sharon Pilgrim that he was leaving to find the cave on a solo hike. After this, Kenny was never seen again. Enrix. Enrix was an old website that spread awareness about a disease. However, the funny fact is that this disease doesn't even exist in the first place. It's made up. Now, this website no longer exists, but using the Wayback Machine, I was able to find what the disease was about. At first, the website was presented in some type of coded language, but after translating it, turned out to be the language Thai. The website explains the disease with the following: Enrix is a complex disease that can be devastating to individuals, including family members. Patients are provided with adequate support and useful counseling in their fight against Gomek syndrome, a medical term that often throws patients afflicted with Enrix. Now, all of this isn't real because it turns out this was all part of a game of an ARG. Enrix is simply a part of an ARG, the Lost Experience, and that's pretty much it. October 28th, 2011.com. October 28th, 2011.com was a website that was created in 2011. The website is strange and mysterious. As you open the website, it presents only a few little lines of text and links. The links lead to some images of pyramids and a cat. The website also presented a phone number that when called, you begin to hear heavy breathing in the distance and a loud beep at the end. Many called the phone number over and over again and claimed they had heard some disturbing noises heard in the background. Many began speculating what this website can mean, as it seemed like a website cults would use to recruit people. Apparently, the website was going to have a religious event on October 28th, but as the time came and went, and the date came, nothing happened. The website went silent and was shut down in 2015. Karen Catherine Walgrave. In 2011, Karen would make a Facebook account on which she would post and say is bizarre to say the least. She would start posting some of the strangest ramblings that just seem out of the ordinary. She would begin to start having conversations with herself that made no sense. Most of these conversations would have nothing to do with the main subject line, and it would just seem like she's saying things out of context. She would comment and reply with herself, even post some pictures in the progress that led to nowhere. She is said to have replied to herself more than 700 times in just a span of 12 hours, but the replies would get stranger and stranger. They would include conspiracy theories and cryptic messages. What makes this even stranger is that before this, she had some normal posts and nothing seemed wrong. Many theories would start to spring up on the internet, whether this was the work of a troll or just some secret coded messages, but the most likely one is that it's someone with schizophrenia and that Karen is just someone suffering from it. She just likes to talk to herself to keep herself entertained, but what do you guys think? Tennyson. Tennyson originates from 2channel. 2channel is a Japanese text board community that launched in 1999. It's one of those popular online communities in Japan. Tennyson are basically characters that are expressed by some shift jizz art. So users would begin trolling with jizz art and would start making bizarre images and statements with shift jizz art. There's also a website called Tennyson.org that is kind of a troll website that is dark and static. It displays a lot of shift jizz art in it and claims don't think, feel, and you'll be Tennyson. A lot of artwork on the website is weird, but it's just the internet being the internet. Haunted library webcam. This is referring to a haunted library that captures footage of a ghost. This is most likely talking about the Willard library located in Evansville. The library is extremely old and is the oldest public library in the state of Indiana. Now, the legend of this library goes that there have been sightings since 1930 of some ghost called Grey Lady. Supernatural things have been happening in this library for a while, so they decided to install webcams to capture some of the events. In some of the videos, you can see the figure of a ghost spotted throughout the library, and there have been multiple reports of new objects appearing and disappearing. Right now, there are multiple websites that provide live webcam footage of the library, so you can look out for the Grey Lady. South 32. Where do I begin with this one? Well, let me just say that all of this is most likely the result of domain squatting. Domain squatting is when you use an internet domain name, in this case South 32, and use the domain in bad faith and put it into a really bad light. You do this so the real company can buy the domain name off you so they do not look bad off this. Now, this is illegal and is exactly what is going on. This entry has many twists and turns, so I will try to summarize them all down. Let's start with the movie South 32, a terrible movie that nobody has heard of because it's incredibly low budget. This movie was made by a guy called Luigi Bion, to which that's not his real name, but we will call him that to save time. Now, let's move on to South32.com. This website was supposedly used to market and promote the movie, but it's not. The website posts a bizarre and strange dump that just puts the real company South32 into a bad light. Now, South32 is a mining company in Western Australia. Different websites under different strange names have been found that lead back to South32.com, such as a domain called Santana.com. All these strange domains were later found out to be owned by Luigi Bion. So what is happening right now is that Luigi Bion is putting the internet domain South32.com in a bad light, so eventually what he's hoping for is that South32, the mining company, notices this and offers to buy the domain name off Luigi, which is illegal. Which also explains why the low budget movie was created, so he can state that the website was used to promote the movie, but in reality he's hoping the South32 company offers to buy the domain off him. There's a lot more about this, so that's why if you're interested, I recommend watching Scare Theater's video about it, as he explains more about the events unfolding. The Fifth Nail blog. The Fifth Nail blog is about a certain how do I say this? Bad person? The blog revolved around Joseph Edward Duncan, who was a level 3 sex offender. Duncan was also a serial killer and a child M-word, and was sentenced to death row whenever he was involved in a number of kidnappings and murders. Joseph kept his blog on a standalone website where he wrote about his beliefs and would share some things about his life. On the website, Duncan would tell his day-to-day life as a sex offender and murderer. Duncan also used a YouTube channel with very little activity on it. Also on the website, Duncan expressed his belief on martyrdom, and he would make up a myth about gypsies for Christ's execution. In some stories, the gypsies were punished by God for prolonging Christ's suffering. However, after Duncan was released from death row, he would then later explain the real reason for Fifth Nail. He explained that all the information was posted by someone called Silence. Duncan would send him information from prison on what to post on the website, but nonetheless, the blog is pretty messed up and disturbing. Fluffy Ponies. Fluffy Ponies is a fictional race of ponies created by My Little Pony Friendship and is a magical fan base, and that's all it's referring to. Surely, right? Obviously not, but this is most likely talking about the opposite side of the community about fluffy ponies. There's a whole different side of the community where they like to watch fluffy ponies be abused and tortured. It's nothing really disturbing since most of the drawings suck, but the fan fiction descriptions can be very strange at times. I don't know exactly why they hate fluffy ponies so much, but I'm sure there's some part of the story that I'm missing, but I don't know, let's just move on. LHOHQ. LHOHQ is a website that, like many others on this iceberg, is very strange. It stands for Laughing Horse Orifice headquarters. Most of the images shown on this website are very strange, and it also displays text and lines that are gibberish even after deciphered. The website presents some images that lead to some links, and some lead to videos that are very odd. Some of the videos range from mind control to politic conspiracies. Now, of course, people started to look into the website and found a bazaar of hidden information and disturbing content that no one should see. Theories began to elude, as many believed it was a website used by the CIA, and others did not think much of it as they thought it was just an ARG. But the website contains pages and pages of just strange videos and documents. Someone has put a lot of time into this website as it contained a ton of random information. LHOHQ also has a YouTube channel that contains strange videos as well. This website has numerous amounts of leaks with different politicians, but it doesn't really lead anywhere as the website just displays some of their information. But nobody really knows what this website is and why it exists. Blood over intent. Blood over intent is referring to a YouTube cult that contains numerous channels and videos involved. Most of the videos are people pricking their fingers and smearing their blood on a piece of paper. On the paper, they all say the same thing in the people's videos, which is, "I intend to bring forth heaven on earth for the benefit of all and release all from bondage." Other videos display more text, but it goes along the lines of that. Most of the comments in these videos are most likely the other members of this cult congratulating them by saying blood thick family or blood thick. I thought this was a small cult at first, but it turns out there are hundreds of videos on YouTube of people doing this. The reason they do this is because in most cults, the blood of a person is a strong tool to verify if you are truly enlightened, and blood is also seen as a very powerful. Look, I don't know, man. Most of the members in the cult also believe other strange conspiracy theories, such as believing the earth is flat. The members of the cult believe that they are to perform such actions and do these types of practices, then they will be the one of the few to bring forth heaven on earth. Global Worldwide. Global Worldwide is a YouTube channel that posts a variety of strange videos. Most of these videos contain strange titles and are just bizarre videos that nobody can quite make out. All the videos in the channel resume in weird video distortions from unknown places that much have not been discovered. But as much as this might seem as some ARG or mystery that people are waiting to solve, it's simply just a bot created by a person named Luis Guerrero, who was a designer from New York. It was simply a web page for one of his projects called Global Worldwide Cafe Internet. The bot would take clips from unknown sources and remix the videos through a script. Yeah, not much else to say here. Mystery solved. Dying NASA scientist. This is actually referring to a YouTube channel called NASA Gym 108. This YouTube channel would upload strange conspiracy theories about unusual mysteries and so-called claims about a dying NASA scientist. The description of all the videos say the same line, which is, "This is a part of a series of clips that my client wished to be posted on the internet after his death." He also says this in the about section of the channel. Most of his videos contain hundreds of thousands of views, even millions sometimes. The video titles all mention a dying scientist explaining some type of mystery that would spark some curiosity. But turns out this would be a stand-up comedian doing this as a little fun experiment. Duncan Trussell would later be found out to be the creator behind this project. Many found this out when he mentioned similar things about this on his podcast. Also, a deleted video called The Loneliest Probe from NASA Gym showed a similar puppet that Duncan also had when he did some of his stand-up comedy. Luca Magnotta sock puppets. This is talking about Luca Magnotta's alternate accounts online. If some may not know, sock puppets online are different alt accounts controlled by others. In this case, Luca Magnotta had a ton. Who is Luca Magnotta? Well, he was someone who was caught killing June Lin at a university after a video surfaced online of him fatally stabbing him to death. Luca Magnotta then, after the murder, said he was said to mail Lin's feet and hands to an elementary school. Luca Magnotta would also send animal rights groups videos of him killing a handful of kittens. Now, back to the sock puppets. It is claimed that he had at least 70 Facebook pages and 20 websites under different names. The reason he had all these was to dislike other people and spread false information about himself. Help with advice. Help with Advice is a YouTube channel that was created on November 28, 2011. Most of the videos shown on are very random and strange. Some of the titles are strange and cryptic, but what's most interesting about these videos is the description of all of them. The people on the channel claim they are being tortured by the US government. The people in the video appear to be a farm couple, and as mentioned previously, were said to be under surveillance by some defense system. Most of the videos are short, but there is one video that is 30 minutes long. In the video, the couple explains symptoms and paranoia that they have been infected with, along with other different topics. In the description in one video it states, farm couple being tortured to death by DoD defense systems to cover up a public corruption case. Farm couples needs help against Black/Special Ops team who broke special code of conduct against innocent civilians, men, women, children's, animals. So it seems like this farm couple is suffering from some government project that they're just caught in the middle of. But what do you guys think? Snapchat intruders. This entry can mean many things, but pretty sure this is referring to an experience a Reddit user had. So a Reddit user going by the name Skinna555 explained about a strange situation he was having with something. Skinna was sending some Snapchats about his birds to his friend, but his friend noticed something in the background of his video. His friend would message him saying, "Ha ha ha, you bearded those beasts, those birds are mad. By the way, what the fuck was that in your window behind you in the last one? Haha." Skinna would review the Snapchat, and in the background you can notice what appears to be a figure standing at the doorway. Skinna immediately saves the snap to review it more. He claims this freaks him out so much because at a very young age he suffered from sleep paralysis, and he would always see what appears to be the figure in the Snapchat. But the next following days, something strange would happen again. He would claim that he would hear banging and scraping outside. He went to check it out while recording, and at first he thought nothing of it until he reviewed the footage and noticed something standing in the corner of his room. He claims that he didn't call the cops or go outside, but showed it to others who also couldn't describe what it was. Now, don't get me wrong, I enjoy these types of stories, but it's most likely fake since it was published on r/NoSleep, to which most of the stories are not real, but I'll let you guys decide. Death of Keith Ratliff. Keith Ratliff was a co-founder of the popular YouTube channel FPS Russia. I'm sure many of you have heard of this channel since it was one of the biggest back in old YouTube. FPS Russia's YouTube channel would display numerous amounts of artillery and guns, showing them off to his YouTube audience. Keith Ratliff was there to be a part of the channel and was one of the main ones to supply FPS Russia with these insane guns. However, on January 6, 2013, Keith was found dead in his very own gun store. He was shot to death with a bullet in the back of his skull. Now, many theories were being made since this was because FPS Russia was a huge gun show, and the fact that one of the founders was found dead was a big enough mystery. Suicide was ruled out since Keith was shot in execution style, and also there was no struggle appeared at the scene of the crime. There was still a lot of theories on what happened, and what many believe is that Keith was involved in some shady business / fraud. Keith had apparently done some questionable things in the past, and many consider that it might be because of one of those actions. Till this day there has not been an exact answer on who did it, but this has to be one of the strangest murders there is. Now, before we start, I do want to mention that the rest of these entries are things that don't have too much information on the internet. Most of them are disturbing and don't have too much details or info attached to them, but nonetheless, let's see what we can find. World Corp Enterprise. World Corp is I don't really know where to start. It's a website that does not exist now, thank the Lord, but if you try to access it today, it will just ask you if you want to buy the domain because the actual website shut down in 2019. The website was very strange and disturbing. It offered videos and images, even music. The images shown on the website are not terribly bad, but it looks like something that an AI generated and mixed, but I understand why many can find it disturbing. As for the videos, yeah, I don't know. I don't even know if I should talk about it, but the videos were very disturbing. Some things people shouldn't hear nor see. The videos contained CP and various other child things that, yeah, you know where this is going. It's also one of the main sources for the infamous Dreamer Heaven video. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it's probably for the best that you don't know. Now, these audio and videos are very disturbing, and I hope it's fake, but by the audio, it doesn't sound fake, and it's something I never want to hear again. Whether it's fake or not, what was on the website is highly uncomfortable for anyone to explore. Leather Smoke Me. Leather Smoke Me is a YouTube channel run by a person called Dave. Dave has an insane smoking addiction and fetish. The channel has over 200 videos and they all show the same thing, which is Dave smoking. Dave would smoke cigars and cigarettes and sometimes both at the same time. Dave in these videos would show various different ways to smoke these products, and in most cases he would realize that smoking is bad for him, but gladly chooses to do it anyways. Over the progress of the years, you can see Dave's health take a massive hit until his final upload. He would upload one final video before he would die due to cancer caused by smoking. Now I know what you're thinking, this is just some guy smoking and eventually coming to his demise due to his actions. Well, you would be right, but something is off about Dave's fans. In the comment sections of the videos, you can find that Dave's fans love to see him smoke and cough, almost like it's some type of fetish for them. They seem to enjoy watching Dave suffer and cough and just choke as his health got worse and worse. His fans would encourage him to do more and continue doing what he's doing. In the process of this video, I even found some subreddits that dedicate themselves to smoking for the sole purpose of destroying their lungs. Asuba. This one is easy to explain. This is about YouTube. If you search this up on YouTube, you will find yourself a playlist full of gore, surgery, and just beheading videos. The reason this pops up on YouTube is I literally have no clue. But Asuba is said to be a Buddhist meditation that requires the practicer to focus on various body parts and organs. It's like to get rid of lustful thoughts in a way, but this is just weird and bizarre. Cannibal Cafe original site. The original site for Cannibal Cafe was a strange and disturbing website that allowed people to connect with one other like-minded individuals that wanted to eat each other. The website states the Cannibal Cafe channel encourages any and all fantasy exchanges between consenting adults regarding sex and death, or as a result in a consequence of sex, or for that matter whatever gets your motor running. So there was this message board where people can interact and share their sick fantasies. Now of course this website does not exist nowadays, but it was advertised by Armin Movies, who killed a man on request after putting an ad on the internet. Before killing him, Armin cut off his private parts and ate them together. User 927. This all started when AOL decided it was a good idea to release a huge file containing thousands of users' private data. The data was copied by the internet multiple times over, even though AOL deleted the file so no others can download it, but it was too late. However, throughout the users, one user stood out, which was user 927. Many online were able to see the search history of user 927, which was bizarre and disturbing to say the least. Most of the disturbing search results consist of R videos and CP videos. They would search for young children videos and murder tutorials. This is very disturbing that nobody should be looking for. I found somebody on Reddit claiming to be user 927, but to be honest, we might never know who user 927 really was or why they're looking things up like that. Till this day, nobody knows who user 927 was. Kevin Whitbread Extreme. Kevin was a 42-year-old father who took his own life. It's the way Kevin took his life that makes this all disturbing. Kevin took his own life while he was on a web chat site called Paltalk. He mentioned to many others 2 hours prior what he was going to do, but of course nobody took him seriously. He was logged on with around 50 other users to a special insult chat room where people have to go at each other. During the chat room, he stated to many that he was going to K himself. Many in the chat thought he was joking, so they cheered him on as they thought nothing of it. Kevin would turn on his webcam and punch a hole in the ceiling, place a rope around a joist and then tie the other end around his neck, then step off the chair. With everyone in the chat room thinking it was a prank, they waited and waited until his face started to turn blue and he became unresponsive. A member in the room contacted the police, who arrived at the scene 2 minutes later. Kevin was pronounced dead at 11:15 p.m. Straight horror filled the chat when they realized what was going on, with many chatters saying his face is purple, call the police, and this is real Puma. It was said Kevin was going through hard times around this period and that it was a motivator to go through with it. Lex the Wonder Dog. This is talking about a movie that never existed. That's right, it's not real. Lex the Wonder Dog was said to be directed and made by Sidney Ling at the age of 13 years old. This would make him the youngest director ever. At one point in Guinness World Records, it would even list him as the youngest director in the world. What's odd about the movie is that it's highly complimented and has great reviews all around. So the Lex Wonder Dog does not exist. In fact, I don't know what it is. People have only seen the poster get rated as a great movie. Everything about Sidney Ling and the movie's information has all come from him. There's no wiki that shows more information about this topic, nor is there ever an official Guinness Book of World Records that have him listed. There's a fake one, but not a real one. So who is this guy? Well, many say that he doesn't even exist, and the only leading trail that leads to someone knowing the movie is David Stratton. Posthumous emails. These emails that you can receive after someone's death or yours. It's something scary, but it's something people don't really know. So there are services on the internet that you can buy that allow them to have some of your information that only you know. Let's say you passed away unexpectedly, well, this service or website would still have that information and they can spread it to your loved ones. Websites like youdeparted.com offer these types of things, claiming this site is about organizing your life, so if you die unexpectedly, become disabled, or become ill unexpectedly, the important details of your life can be made available for those who really need it. There have been a number of cases of people doing this and giving closure to their loved ones, but I can see why many find it odd. Rob. This is a YouTube channel documenting their loud noise complaints about their neighbors. Rob's content usually consists of a black screen with audio of their neighbors playing in the background. The titles appear to usually have the date and the time mentioned. They also have some insulting words. Some say he has up to 7,000 videos about these noise complaints, and that's all he uploads. As much as he uploads these videos about his neighbors and expresses how terrible they are, the neighbors in the videos don't seem loud or angry, but rather they just are talking normally. There's not too much information on who this might be or why they do it, but I think it's safe to say they hate their neighbors. Vardon Kushner. Vardon Kushner was a notorious spammer who ran the American Language Center and who is believed to have spammed the entire population of Russian language internet users with ads for his language courses. Vardon would spam his ads for some of his language courses to gain traction. It's estimated his ads reached 25 million users between 2003 and 2004 in Russia. The ads became very well known. They started to spread to other countries such as the United States and Israel. Now, of course, the ALC did not approve of this and removed him as a partner, but he continued to advertise his course as he wanted to be someone recognized. However, on July 24, 2005, Vardon would be killed. He was killed after receiving repeated blows to the skull by some individuals. It said that he was found dead in his bathroom after he returned home at night with 3 women. It said they drank out and that one of the girls slipped a tranquilizer into his drink. After he was out for the count, they smashed his skull, leaving him to die silently in his blood. Now, I doubt the spamming of his ads had anything to do with this death, but it's probably like a robbery that went wrong since officials don't want to release the exact events that happened. However, many online saw it that way, and one of the journalists headlined one of their episodes with "The Spammer Had It Coming." Daryl Pratt. In 2015, Daryl Pratt was an online stalker that got a lot of attention for it. Daryl would stalk a YouTube user going by the name Alana Pierce. It was said that Daryl was obsessed with her and that he would comment on everything that she would do. Daryl would comment and watch everything she does. He would compliment her and message her multiple times a day to the point where it was creepy. Alana Pierce started to block him on YouTube and all over social media, as when he was blocked on one part of the internet, he would try to message her on another part of the social media platform. Alana would block him, but Daryl would make alt accounts and try to message her like that. But once she found out, she would block him again. Daryl would then take the conversation to Reddit, asking the subreddit r/legal advice whether certain things were illegal. Daryl would ask if sending a girl love letters was illegal. Daryl would continue asking on Reddit for advice, but most of the responses on Reddit were users telling him what he was doing was stalking and that he should seek help. Daryl was not satisfied with these responses and would start to get upset and began blaming everything on Alana, acting like she was the one causing him damage, stating, "Oh my god, how is it terrifying that I like a girl? The only one getting hurt is me. I think about her all day, but she won't even acknowledge me anymore." Daryl Pratt would post one more time on Reddit saying the following: "I'll most likely be dead tonight, so that should make her extremely happy. F this world." After this, we would never hear from him again on this account. Alana Pierce would then make a YouTube video addressing everything about her stalker, explaining details more on the situation. Nowadays, many have said that they found him again and that he's doing alright, but we don't know for sure whether it's him or someone else. I highly recommend watching Nextpo's video about this case as he goes over the messages and timeline if you're interested. 4chan Ban Boon story. And finally, the last entry of the iceberg, which is the 4chan Ban Boon story. Now, I don't know if I have the right story. You see in the wiki, talking about the Ban Boon story, it mentions that it's a creepy story about the user's recurring nightmares about a Ban Boon that would torment him in his sleep. However, in my entire read, the user never mentions anything about being in a nightmare nor a dream. So I don't know if this is mentioning the same story unless I'm missing something on the thread, but I'm going to summarize the story on the thread. Now, I'm going to say this right now, just because it's the last one doesn't mean it's the most interesting one. on. It's actually pretty mundane. So this is talking about a story from an old 4chan thread of a user explaining the story that he was getting tormented by a type of odd creature. He explains how he took over his dad's old cabin in the woods and he would camp there regularly. Over the course of some time, he would have some strange occurrences happen around the cabin, such as something destroying his lawn chairs outside or throwing a dead squirrel at the cabin. These strange occurrences would continue to happen, along with dead animals appearing around the area. While later on he would state he witnessed what appeared to have the face of an ape, but not quite, while he described the creature's features as having long arms and long fingers, yellow eyes, and a black reddish color face that matched the color of the creature's fur. He states it then glanced at him through the window and screeches and leaps back into the woods. Of course, many theories rose, such as many believing it was an orangutan or a baboon, but most likely it's like a hoax at the end of the day. But the story is pretty old and I'm pretty sure it's at the bottom of the iceberg because hardly anybody knows about it. But like I mentioned previously, this might or might not be the right story it's referring to, and if it's not, then I wasn't able to find the original.
And that is a wrap of the iceberg. I really hope it was as entertaining for you guys to stick all the way to the end. It truly means the world to me for you guys to watch my videos. Just thank you all for watching. Subscribe if you enjoy this type of content. I will do more iceberg videos in the future. But yeah, icebergs are super fun to cover. They're always mysterious and just have a variety of topics. So I really enjoyed covering this iceberg and I hope it was as entertaining for me as it was to you. But yeah, that's about it. And nothing else to say here other than thank you for watching, and like always, bye.